Hey,
Hey now, hey now.
how's it going? Oh, more, and more, more and more dad noises. Yes.
Hang around me. I can't get out of this chair. It's hard not go. It's been a hard day's night.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
working like a dog. I forget all the words to this song. I'm in a very Beatles mood today.
Beatlesy,
Beatlesy mood.
Beatlesy mood,
Beatlesy. Beatles. They spelled Beatles wrong.
Beatles.
They did. They spelled Beatles wrong.
Should spell it with two e's.
But our Google immediately knows because
What do you mean?
the Beatles are so ubiquitous
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, it takes context and it knows what you're looking for.
It took me a minute to know who the Beatles were. I knew Help. That was about it. Like, yeah, and that the only reason I knew that song was because like it's been in like a whole bunch of ads.
Well, "Help" is one of those songs that like it kind of transcends a lot of. I mean, it's an emotion that everybody feels.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
I just know Help. I need somebody,
Help,
not just anybody. It's fire. Super fire.
help.
I love that song. It's a good song.
I actually didn't do too bad for like if I'm copying a British person, I can almost get a.
You can almost get
I
a
can
tune out.
almost sing like John. When you get down here, you see, you got to get into that anyways to be John. See,
Not just anybody. I can't sing like I gotta like mine turns into a little bit of a country accent for some reason. It's weird.
Mama, don't tell. Yeah. Well, then there's Willie.
This Willie. Who?
I'm the king of rap. There is no higher. You sucker MCs ought to call me sire. Oh, that was
What?
Willie Dog, not Willie Nelson.
Willie Dog. I was like,
Willie D.O. Double
when
G.
did Willie Nelson make a
Do a Run DMC cover?
yeah?
Oh, I wish. God, I wish. Willie Sings Hip Hop is the album I dream of. I dream of a band called Willie Dog,
Willie Dog.
where it's Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg.
Oh my God.
Because they have that. They both drawl. They both talk that way. Actually, if you think
I
about
don't
it.
think that's the thing that like ties them together.
Well, no, they have other things that tie them together. That's why I'm thinking.
There's one thing that comes to my mind when I think of both
I
Willie Nelson
bet
and
if
Snoop Dogg.
you
I probably
had
can't say it on
enough of
Facebook,
that
but
substance in a recording studio
yeah,
with Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg, what
something
come
would
out of
get
it
made.
be platinum.
Maybe, maybe.
Forget Lil Nas X. You want crossover? I'll give you crossover.
That's funny.
Martha Stewart singing backup.
Martha Stewart singing back up.
Yeah, that's the Martha D.O. Double G.
Oh my God.
I've always had this.
What?
So I've always had this theory that this would make a great album, right?
Okay.
That in the end, this would be awesome. And for the
So Willie and Snoop Dogg.
oh god, yeah. Go. Oh, okay.
I actually haven't listened to a whole bunch of Willie Nelson's music, so I wouldn't know how that would work out.
I swear we're really gonna get to a topic, and the topic today is help. I know, and it's really hard to ask for. So we're gonna find ways to go the other direction.
Right.
That if you look at hip hop
Mhm.
and if you look at country,
Mhm.
talking about the same stuff. Down low, don't have much. Got my tractor, got my car, got my sounds, got my whatever.
Mhm.
But that really they show that they both have the closest roots to blues.
Yeah, they both took a different approach, but yeah,
That well, they're singing from the same place, just in
I'd
different.
say similar. I wouldn't say same, but
Well,
similar.
no,
There's some aspects of country that aren't really big in hip hop,
what?
and there's some aspects of
What?
rap that aren't really big in.
Well, what?
Well, country doesn't really talk about shooting people much. Well, actually,
You mean guns?
no, they do. They do kind of talk about guns a little bit. Yeah, they do kind of talk about guns a little bit. That's a good point, actually. You know what's funny? There was an SNL skit where where I forget, it was Tom Hanks, and he was playing some like
Oh,
country racist guy, like redneck type guy,
okay.
and he was on some game show, and they had realized like oh snap, we're actually kind of similar. He was on some game show like with black people involved, and they were like, oh snap, we're actually kind of similar when you think about it.
Well, that is, yeah.
I mean, if you
There's no doubt.
if you have broke white people, you get country. If you have broke black people, you usually get rap. So
So what you're saying is this divide we're feeling in the United States is a little silly because these two groups are talking from the same location and getting played.
I'll say one's a little. Well, no, country still does pretty well. I take that back. They still do pretty. There's still some pretty big country artists. I was gonna say that rap
okay.
has
I
a
was
little
like,
bit
whoa,
more.
okay, yeah.
I was gonna say rap has a little bit more like, what is it? Pop. Like it's a
Well,
little bit
no.
more popular right now.
Oh, that's because
But
that's all you listen to. Actually, there's big pop.
but
country.
I was gonna that's why I was saying.
You literally
That's why
just
I was
watched a
saying
rapper
there's
go
literally
after the country rock thing.
that's
with-
why I was
yeah,
saying
it's-
there's literally like I know that country artists still do well.
No, my point is you live in an echo chamber.
Everyone does.
all you right. That's what I mean. But all you think that's popular is hip hop is because that's all you listen to. But what I'm saying is, no, country's very popular in our country. Actually,
Yeah, I know it's still
yeah.
still pretty popular.
probably more popular than hip hop.
I would beg to differ, but there's
But that's-
literally no way to
There is actually. You can measure that.
really.
You can see who's listening to what. It's a
That's
very
good
easy
point.
thing to measure.
Yeah.
And I think rock wins still, and I forget who's next, whether it's hip hop or country. But and pop is always the most popular because by definition that's what pop means.
Yeah, literally.
Pop is the popular music. And I think to some extent we're at a point where the three other major genres,
Everything kind of blends into pop.
that everything contributes to pop.
Okay.
Not blends into pop, but that things rise from all three sources these days
Okay.
to become pop.
Actually that's probably a fair assessment.
That I mean, there are pieces
Yeah.
of there's a Disney movie with a #1 song
Oh yeah, in Canton.
in Canto. Well, and
I haven't seen that. I don't really want to.
I think Let It Go only made it to like #5.
Let it go. I think it made it
But-
pretty high.
No,
I think
okay.
it may not have made it to number
Okay,
one.
Can I
but
be honest? I saw something this morning and was watching TV. Made it to #5.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Okay.
pull that out of thin air.
Okay.
It made it to #5. Oh, what was they gave with you? #1 was A Whole New World. The only other #1 was Aladdin.
Yeah,
A
that makes
Whole
sense.
New World.
That makes sense. That's a banger.
that was
That's
bad.
a banger.
That's
It's
a
amazing.
banger.
Yes, it's
You
amazing.
just said a whole new. Well, it's amazing, but calling it a banger just seems. It is. So
I don't
not
care.
a
I don't
banger.
care. It's a banger. I don't care. I'm describing it like that. Forget you. I don't care.
It's a banger.
Yes. A Whole New World is a banger.
My favorite banger is that Celine Dion one from Titanic. That's a real banger. It's a banger. What? I love that heartbeat. Now I want a whole new world with a heartbeat and some rap. I want a hard version.
That's funny.
So today is February.
February
February 1st.
February 1st.
So one of the things I think we all have trouble with is admitting when we need help.
Yes.
Or even if we admit it internally, not being willing to.
Express that.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to do. Just don't say it. You know?
Sure, but then you fall flat on your face.
This is true as well.
Bottom slips out from underneath.
This is true as well, yeah.
I've got a list here of all the things we need. Yeah, whatever. I'll get there, I suppose. I know that me personally,
Mm-hmm.
and whether it's some part of male culture in the United States or whether it's a thing that I deal with because of it doesn't matter really. The idea of asking for help
Mm-hmm.
feels somewhat emasculating, and that's just being honest about the feeling enough that I've dealt with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I still have everything, so I'm not emasculated. And I realize that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that culturally that's a thing we learn, especially as men. There's rumor or hearsay that women are more, they deal with that better. I don't know that that's true.
I think to some extent there's an idea that society puts a lot of pressure on men to be very strong and independent.
Yeah.
Even more so than women, just because they have the option now. There's a difference. Like there's still pressure on them. Like they get pressure from both sides. I don't think that there's as much pressure from men to like on men to like ask for help more often and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So I find it really difficult. I mean, and in the process of starting a nonprofit, an organization that by definition is probably needs some help. The not-for-profit part, we have all kinds of ideas for cute little promos we may throw out this month, you know, about different ways of asking for funds that are out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, in the end, funds are a legitimate reality that
Yeah.
in 28 days, to some extent or another, the door's shut. That the concept in my head,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to hear probably in my head a lot of times today, is that the way you start building a community
Mm-hmm.
is by reaching out to the community, by bringing the community into what you're doing.
Yeah.
As a reaction to the idea that real voices not so much weren't being heard, but weren't being heard clearly,
Mm-hmm.
that I see more to the idea that the music kind of all represents people in pain.
Right.
That I can go through all the genres,
Mm-hmm.
and short of some really good drugs in the 60s, we're all talking about that pain.
Yeah.
I think of that as unifying our sound. Both our voice, our music, our art. By our sound, I mean the noise we make.
Mm-hmm.
That when I think of the idea of make noise, be heard as a slogan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about me making noise or you making noise. I mean, yeah, we're making noise. But I'm talking about the idea that we have a communal noise
Right.
that we need to be making. Like literally need to be making. As a reactionary front to I don't have anything against corporations. I don't want it to come across that way. I don't mean it that way, I guess. But what I mean is that at the point voices are stifled or raised based on preferences beyond ours, and that if voices were raised up from inside the community,
Mm-hmm.
both musically and in interview and conversation form, what we would realize
Mm-hmm.
is that we're the same. That when you look at the new studies about why does everybody have kids with peanut allergies now, you know what the solution is?
Wait, really?
Yeah, do you know what the solution is?
I didn't know that was a thing.
It is. It's a big thing, man. You know, that's can't peanut butter in school anymore.
What?
But do you know what the solution is?
That's crazy. What?
Give them a little bit of peanut butter at a time. I don't know how they actually do this. I'm assuming there's a medical route used.
Yeah.
But it was that literally exposure therapy was
Yeah, that's how you get over stuff.
the part of the reason all of our kids are sick is they don't go outside as much.
If you have a
anymore.
speech impediment, you have to talk.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
James Earl for the win.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Among others. That's also the history.
I'm pretty sure
behind-
Morgan Freeman also
And
had
I
a
believe
speech
that's the history
impediment.
behind
too.
Morgan Freeman as well. That his is an assumed voice because he worked at it. Not in the sense that it's not natural to him now, but in the sense that he worked
But
at
in the
it.
sense that he worked at it.
I think my little basement setup isn't going to change the world. People look at me and say, when I say I want to change the world, they go, well, all you can change is you.
Right.
And I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I also, though, think that if we heard each other's voices, we would hear that in the same way as a little bit of peanut, by way of exposure, that we're the same.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a big dream.
What do you mean?
the idea of beyond even one little place. It's why the concept of a nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's that that makes people comfortable, even maybe someday bigger artists,
Mm-hmm.
with the idea that something as simple as donating proceeds to the organization would go towards raising more voices in more communities.
That's the goal.
That, I mean, we talk often
Mm-hmm.
about the Linden area. I know some of you aren't in Columbus. Linden is a less financially well-off neighborhood that has been in that situation for a very long time, though it looks like there's currently going to be some.
There's a bit of a switch going on.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's
I was getting
definitely a
ready to
bit
say
of a
that.
switch going on. Like things are getting better for Linden.
Depends where.
And depending on how you look at it.
There's some gentrification, but it's in specific neighborhoods where they like
Yes.
the architecture.
Yes.
Reality is, if they ever fix that mall, I'll fall over. Here's my point. We dream about the idea of having something similar somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
That we dream of sharing.
Yeah.
My dream isn't about me. I know, and that screws up everybody's dream. Because the problem is I don't feel comfortable with the idea I even want one.
Right.
I'm not comfortable with I run into these places where, hey, if you're a teacher, you should charge, and if you're
a teacher, you should charge. What?
first off,
Why would you charge for? All right.
all I will ever be in this lifetime is a student, and all I ever dream of being is a student. All I ever want to do is learn.
Mm-hmm.
When the master is ready, the student appears.
Yeah.
That's backwards. That's not how anybody says that, for the record.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
That when it comes down to it, to do this successfully, we need to legally incorporate
Mm-hmm.
so that anybody that donates feels comfortable with the idea. It's not, hey, I'm giving money to Matt or Ross,
Mm-hmm.
which also means we need a board of directors. I have some people in mind. We are always desperate for help as far as just basic audio visual knowledge. Yeah.
Right.
We stumble. I am so proud of.
Please critique
we
us.
have come so far. But there are a million, like, no, it can feel like this looks like we're playing. But it dawns on me. So reality is, what happens is you need help, but you don't even know what language to put it in.
That's funny.
I suggest everybody catch Japanese Beatles up there if they get a chance. It's interesting. It's interesting. But it's part of the reality
Yeah.
that when you're asking for help, it feels,
Feels wrong.
A, it feels wrong. And B, then when you go through a list of, and this is what I need,
Right. Then you feel like you're really asking for a lot.
until you start thinking of a community. Until you start thinking, no, it's not somebody that has everything that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I had a beautiful friend. I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her. Cindy Carlton reached out to me the other day, who has been updating and working on internet presence and promotion, and knows how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And reached out, and we're going to take a look at the website.
Mm.
Meridian Dynamics, just a mere subsidiary. That it doesn't mean any little bit can help.
Yeah.
And I don't mean financial. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm walking towards a cliff financially. That is a reality.
Yes.
But I know I have friends that are lawyers, and I need to help. I need to help set up a nonprofit.
Well, to some extent, so much of that is figuring out how to reach out to people, how to let people know that you need help.
How to let people ask. I mean, how to let people
How to
know.
ask people.
How to ask, and
Yeah.
it'd be okay that the
How
person
to
say
ask
no.
people. Yeah.
They get over the fear of somebody saying no.
Yeah.
Because no's okay.
Yeah.
There's other people, and then you ask the next person.
Right.
And for our next video
In
on
for our next
pickup hints and how to get the ladies.
That's fun.
Except that no is going to be one of the answers. And then just ask somebody else.
That's funny.
But
Yeah.
if they're unconscious, they don't want tea.
They don't want to.
Inside jokes, my apologies. I know you don't want tea either. Um, so then you start looking at the idea of tech. Our computers hurt. They do. I mean, we made a good purchase last year on a computer that's almost as old as you are, but it's running stuff pretty well.
Which one?
Well, okay.
The other one.
No, I think this one's old. No, not quite older than you. You were a baby when this.
I was gonna
came
say
out.
that
this,
one.
No,
No,
this
that
this
one's
one's a decade plus,
Mm,
isn't it? It's old.
that one's old. The one I have that doesn't work that we gotta
Well, yeah.
get fixed is.
You know what? If somebody has a quick and easy throw a copy of Windows or look at a laptop for us. We're
Right.
not tech-wise. Yeah, I built laptops at one point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Took them apart, struck them down, but it was an assembly line process in the sense that you were testing specific pieces, not when the hard drive worked, it either worked or it didn't. Windows either booted or it didn't. I didn't figure out how to make the hard drive be happy again, if that makes sense.
I find that it's hard to find people that will just believe in your idea. I don't know.
No, I agree.
I find it's hard to find those people like that because like first you have to like give them the idea. You have to like
that hurts.
you have to
like,
it sounds terrible, but you have to like sell
asking
yourself.
for
It feels
I am. I'm
it
in the middle
feels
of selling
bad,
myself,
you know?
and it feels like crap. I mean, no, I'm
I get that.
I'm trying to do. This is our elevator speech to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to change the world, but yeah, we need people to believe in us.
Yeah.
This isn't about just music or a single podcast.
No, seriously.
My concept is eventually, it's more like a radio station without a radio.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is eventually you're booking time that doesn't have to be us.
Yeah.
That you go, oh man, I like what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
And you want to see what content we bring forward.
Almost like a network type thing, maybe.
Kind of ish. You know, we've got the presence on, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
which allows for a lot of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a podcast presence. There's been some discussions about where. I'm not going to go into that right now because that's not a main requirement of the day. I too love Crazy Horse. But there's literal just, hey, those of you throwing away a computer, check to see if it's an upgrade. Because we have additional things we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You need another system if we're going to record in the bar out in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink, but it looks like a bar, trust me. Or you need another computer for the sound room underneath the stairs. If we do a...
Yeah, there's a lot of
each
things.
place, you
There's a lot
kind
of
of...
thoughts.
The real way to move it along is... No, hopes and dreams. There's a kitchen to be there's a million things.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, the basement becomes the whole studio with all of the accoutrement. I don't care about accoutrement right now.
I don't know what that word means.
Stuff that goes with it.
I figured that was what it meant, but like I had to ask.
Now you got it. So, like, try and get it down a little bit. Closer. I can almost understand. See? In Spanish! Kinda, I think it's Spanish, isn't it? It's in some language. It's got the exclamation points going backwards and forwards.
I'm not sure.
The other thing I want more than anything else, and that kind of leads into this, I want to work with people I know. I want the musicians around us to feel like they'd like to come here and make noise.
Yeah.
I don't want, so people get confused in the sense of we call it a studio.
Mm-hmm.
In general, it isn't a, hey, let's sit down and record your music like a traditional studio.
Mm.
And we're not really built that way.
I like the idea that we could do both.
I'm not saying we can't do both, but my point is
Mm-hmm.
that in general, no, it's a more no, you don't walk in like an artist that's planning on telling us what to do. It's an interactive experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
see what
yeah.
I'm saying? As
I get
opposed
you.
to, hey man, I paid for studio time. Where's my engineer?
Right.
Nobody pays for studio time for a specific reason, and what is it? So we can tell them to leave.
Oh yeah, 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 I forgot. I was like thinking through my head. I was like, why do we do that again? That.
Well, the goal is to bring people in. So, and the idea is everybody is a part of what we do. So if
Uh-huh.
you're here and in the room and we're creating,
Uh-huh.
everybody gets a piece of it because it adds to the part of what a studio is a community.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong. The traditional go and pay for your studio time and slap on the wrist and go.
Yeah.
That's not a community. You might bring your community with you and be at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
In this, we're inviting who we want into a home.
Yeah.
Literally, we live here.
Pretty much.
So pretty much. No, literally. Not figuratively, literally. I meant literally
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
You had to put a disclaimer
Yeah.
right through that wall. I'm telling you, I know where he sleeps. I know where he sleeps.
That sounds terrifying.
I'd love it if people wanted to donate old instruments. I really would. I can't do pianos. I'm sorry, but somebody had talked to me about a saxophone and an accordion.
Oh
And
really?
I got so excited. Oh my god, I was so jazzed.
What happened?
I didn't pursue. I did, but I didn't. And I've got some people we need to reach out to in my Rolodex of people I've listed and go, hey, come in and play some music.
Mm-hmm.
That the live aspect is really important to me, and Ross will point this out.
Yeah.
I like to think I learned something from reality TV.
What did you learn?
Two things. People are interested in seeing it, and I can't deal with if you're going to cut it up to make it say whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you throw in some Howard Stern, and people like to watch the train wreck. I want it to feel like what we're sharing is the idea that you don't have to put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
Once I start clipping it up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously putting on a show. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to put out promos and clips. That's not what I mean by that. What I mean is I always want the source material available to go, hey, that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to music, I love watching that process.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love watching the birth of creation.
Right. The birth of creation.
Birth of
That's
creation.
funny. That sounds
The
really
creation
religious.
of birth sounds far more disgusting. Let's go birth with the
Yeah,
birth of creation.
it sounds really nasty. Really nasty.
That, you know what? I want to share other people's art, not just, audio, but visual.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of how I want the page to evolve, I want it to be a coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to feel like a spot where not only do we share our thoughts, but hey, I found this thing that I'm interested in. And one of the things we've talked about is how you make eventual residual income on the side if you knew what you were doing with a website. And that's, you know what? As opposed to just screeching your wheels at everybody that can put you up. You can have everybody should have an Amazon store at this point.
What?
They'll pay you
like
if your friends click on the things you like.
Affiliate marketing?
Yeah, there ought to be an app that turns it into, hey, everything I like just automatically I've got a like button and somebody can go look at it. So that way when they buy it, I get like 3/millionths of a cent or whatever, and the 3/millionths of a cents add up.
Problem with that is you gotta build up to that.
I'm not suggesting build up to that. I'm suggesting that as part of
It's not a
the new
get rich
social
quick
model.
I was gonna say squeam. Squeam? No, scheme. I can't speak English. That's funny. Help, I need somebody, not just anybody. That song's stuck in my head now. Great.
It's a great song.
No, it's not a bad song to be stuck in my head.
Everybody's head today.
you know.
Everybody, to me daughter and to Josh and Oh, all kinds of people out there in the world. You know what? It's a hard thing asking for help. I think we've all been there though. And
Oh
I don't
yeah.
want to. I don't want to whine and cringe on. It really is how it feels. It's like, yeah, here, let me sing you my woes. No, they're not my woes. This is my dream.
Mm.
I don't. But it's coming to terms with the idea that part of running, getting something like this off of the ground requires some patronage. Man, you see how long that's
Hey
not easy.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I know lots of nonprofits, and I don't question their process based on people give them money.
Well, I have less of a problem with asking. Well, no, I won't lie like that. I kind of have a problem with asking for help. It's just I kind of forget sometimes that like the Renaissance wouldn't have happened without like all of the nameless rich people that just had money sitting
Not
around.
all of them were
And
nameless.
no, well, not all of them were
Medici.
nameless, but I'm saying like there was a lot of like there was a lot of people that didn't like there was a lot of people you didn't see primarily in the Renaissance age that like helped out and helped create that. Like there was a lot of like behind the scenes stuff going on, like
There was a value to philosophy and art
yes,
going back to the Roman and Greek times.
yes,
That that you're right to some extent that one of the joys of the Renaissance is that as much as you may hate the church funded
yeah,
amazing art.
this is true.
I mean, just art that I wonder why we really need more of that again. Like, so I was saying,
Renaissance art is dope.
well, I don't even mean the particular form of art. I mean,
I think it is.
when we talk about the 1%, everybody gets all wired about who has what
Mm-hmm.
money. But then it's kind of funny that Mackenzie, Jeff Bezos' wife,
Mm-hmm.
has given away more money since their divorce than he has given away in his entire life.
Because they have different goals.
But
He just wants to stack it.
why wouldn't you have both? Why? I don't understand. Okay? Explain to me the point of that. What's the point of having if you're not sharing?
I don't see
Where's
the
the
point.
joy?
I don't see the point in it. I mean, I'm just saying that's what his goal is.
Well, but I mean, or it's you know what? I'm going to change the world. I need more money to make. Don't you think there's somewhere he's got a justification? I don't think he sees it that
No, I
way.
don't think he sees it that way at all. I just think he wants to
And
make
I
money.
don't mean to be
You know?
bopping on you, Jeff. If you're out there somewhere
I
watching.
mean, part of it is I think some people also have an idea of I need to accumulate as much money as possible for my family. There's some people that have that thought.
Okay, but isn't there a moment? Okay, literally $1 billion, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of
There's
money.
also people who are like unsatisfied by how jacked they already are.
Well,
They're,
is it
that
that
are
they're
that
well,
are
but
that
isn't
are
it themselves?
constantly trying to get bigger. There's like people that I'm trying to think of other like there's people that have a problem with stopping once you get it going
I see you, Elon.
or even slowing down at all. Like
Well, but it's not about a stopping or a slowing. No, I'm not suggesting that that's even should. Okay, let's for a minute buy into the present situation.
not everybody was a kid who learned how to share.
But my point is that not everybody that learned how to share learned the value of it.
Not everybody learned how to share learning value.
That
Yes, yes.
that sharing is not about giving away what you have, which is how it feels. It's
Mhm.
about supporting your community and your species, your whatever, however big you want to make the plan. But oh, okay. I don't ever want to wander off into rich people bad. I need money.
Sorry. Yeah.
That I don't feel that way at all. I think that there's something to be said for there's an amount of wealth at which your patronage should equal. My argument has always been once upon a time there was a noblesse oblige. There was an obligation of the noble. What we've done with our current arrangement regarding employees and corporations, though, is we've removed any desire that
I
That
actually
obligation of being noble, if you will.
I actually like the fact that people get the choice. And the reason
No, no,
why
no.
I
I
say
agree
that.
with that.
The reason why I say that is cuz it almost makes it more meaning. It does make it more difficult to choose the other option, but it makes it more meaningful when someone does choose that option,
Well,
I
but
guess.
first off, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Because
I
we value money so much, it means a lot when someone actually feels confident in us enough to actually give us money. It feels
right.
yeah. And the only I think part of it is the only reason it feels so helpful or so like it feels so it's okay. So first off, like it feels like you don't really have the confidence to ask. First off, you don't have that. So then you go ahead and ask. You ask a whole bunch of people. You get a whole bunch of no's. When you get that one yes, it feels amazing. You wouldn't have got that if you got so many no's. Like if you didn't get so many no's, you probably wouldn't as have felt as good as when someone actually said yes and
So the
someone
value of
actually
the
believed
journey.
you. There's a value in the journey. I don't really have like a bad perception of misers. I almost feel like there's a need for misers because of
I
the
have
fact.
none of that feeling.
Nah, I feel like there's a need for misers. Yes. Why?
There's no need for misers.
It's gonna get back into the system anyways.
No, it doesn't.
When
That's
they
the problem.
when they die or when their kids use all their money, or it's gonna get back into the system anyways. I don't really. There's more than enough money for me to not care about the people hoarding their money. I think. I feel like. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be a miser. I'm not gonna hold my money. I don't really care about it that much.
I
But
concur with the people on that are out there talking that no, it's that yeah, no, it's they have a constant fear of losing it.
yeah,
That there's that it's driven by fear.
no, it is driven by fear.
And so I think I don't want anybody to live constantly in fear. So I am not actually taking the side of we need misers.
Amen.
I'm going with, hey, we don't necessarily need to have a government force take things from people. I think though that there's a misunderstanding on how wealth should work. I'm okay.
I also think
We'll come back to the other thing for a minute.
Yeah.
The reason we're 28 days from the edge is because I honestly believe there's no point in having anything if I'm not sharing it. That there's no meaningful existence that doesn't involve, oh, you need it. Whatever it is.
mhm.
That I, why else am I what is the point of having so many tears if I don't water the flowers?
Well, to some extent, I believe in the same thing. I don't really,
I don't
I don't care much what other people do. You know, I know that when
we were trying to talk them into the idea that we wanted there to be
Well,
more
the thing is-
patrons.
yes,
Remember?
yes,
Suggesting
Yes.
that we don't like patrons is
Okay.
not the direction we're
Okay.
trying to go with
I'm
this
sorry.
conversation.
I'm sorry.
The idea that we're supporting people that don't want to give money to anybody is not where the hey.
I'm not
we need
supporting
money.
people that don't
I
want to
know,
give money.
but
I support everyone. Everyone's awesome.
I agree.
I support everyone.
Everyone's awesome.
Yes.
If you would like to be on our more awesome list for a mere no. Hey man, it's how the church did it. First off, we'd like to admit that
I'm
you're
not gonna
all
knock the
awesome.
hustle.
Secondly, if you'd like to be on our more awesome list,
That's funny. If you'd like to be on our more awesome, that's actually not a bad promo. That's funny.
that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Because I love everybody too. I
Yeah.
love the misers. I don't think of them as
I
misers.
guess I place-
think
I
I
place-
see struggle in all things.
I
so
will say I place a lot of value in support, and support in any way, shape, or form helps.
you know,
Sharing, sending money. There's a lot of ways to support.
Well-
Just coming in and like wanting to do an interview, that helps
wanting to
too.
do an interview, wanting to do some music.
Right, wanting to
It
do
doesn't
some music.
have to be
Exactly.
hip-hop.
It
I
doesn't.
wanna hear. I love everything.
Anything
I've
you
got
got.
drums. I've got a guitar. We got a keyboard. Got another guitar.
Yeah.
I literally mean, come make noise.
If you do art, if you
Listen,
paint, all types of stuff, man.
I don't even hold. It's not that I hold Yoko responsible, but I really can't do anybody that sings like Yoko. I love you, Mrs. Lennon, and I mean no affront whatsoever. It's not my particular cup of tea, and it's a very small room.
Ah,
Oh,
ah,
thank you, Yoko, for that brief.
you, I, okay,
Exactly, we're all in agreement, aren't we?
yeah,
The point is, we want to hear you. I love that you guys want to hear us. We want to keep being here and you hearing us, and we want to give you more to hear. Some of what the more to hear we want you to hear is you,
yeah,
because it's kind of the show about not putting on a show. So we're looking to talk to real people about real things. New show coming, 10 questions, and that's going to be a thing that no anybody that wants to come in, we can hit them up with 10 questions, throw them up.
yep.
10 questions is fun. Like how quick? What's? I'll leave this with you today. If there was one question that you think you could ask anybody that would tell you the most about them, what would it be?
There's one question you could come up with
Yeah, if there was one question.
that would tell you
Our
the
question
most
for the day
about
is,
them.
can you help us? But what like a one
Mhm.
question so that you know it's
A
gonna give me dead
question?
air,
That's
folks.
so hard. That's so hard to like think of. I can't figure that out. I'm my
Well, the
brain.
good news is, guess what?
What?
Yeah.
That's
Tomorrow you'll know.
funny.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Either way,
Maybe.
I don't. I want everybody listening to this,
Mhm.
especially the people listening to it right now,
Mhm.
understand how much support they've given and how much it means to us.
Yes.
This is not a, oh dude, I'm not getting enough from people. No, this is very much, I'm thankful for where we are, and I know how far we've come, and I know what roads and how many millions of miles in my case traveled to get to where to here. I really, in my opinion, want to stay.
We're just trying to say we need a little help. That's all. We need a little help. And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling bald. My hair's been going south and I'm appalled. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Feeling down.
So if you could please help. I don't know, I usually let her know.
I'm sorry I derailed it a little bit. My bad.
You're okay, it was funny.